think I read about it in LA a couple years ago, and then I heard that they were turning it into a movie, and I met Luke and Garth in this really cool house that they were writing the script in. And this was really early on. They actually had storyboards on the wall, and they were planning out scenes together, and I popped in, had some wonderful ginger tea that Luke makes, and we sat down and just spoke about the project. It was really early on, and I was really excited about it. And then I think it was almost a year later, when I was doing another film in London, I got the call to audition for Garth, and he put me through my paces, and now we're here. To be honest, for me, this film has been, I'd say, almost 8 months to a year of commitment for me. And that's pretty long for a project. For an actor, I came in early, and as soon as I got the role, Garth gave me a call and said, "You're not allowed to cut your hair anymore, and we're going to put some more weight on you to make you a bit more Aussie and believable, and also add a bit of maturity to to my on-screen presence." To be honest, I've never read a script so captivating, and it kind of encapsulates triumph in a way. It's such a hopeful story about this kid's, this kid's will to survive and find his family again. And it's so complex. You have, it kind of shifts into another gear when it gets out of India and comes to Australia. And what really drew me to the role is that it's a very contemporary character that I'm playing. He's basically an Australian guy. I would do anything for the guy, and it's because he comes from a place of so much inspiration and love for the material. He lives and breathes these characters with us, and that demands you to come at it with that level of compassion and commitment too. It's the material in Garth's hand is sacred, is what it is. It's been so nourishing. I don't think I've done a project so transformative ever, in terms of physically and emotionally. What Saru has gone through in his life, many individuals would never ever have experienced. She performs with soul and heart, and she completely embodies Sue in every way. This woman who's trying to control this family that's falling apart, but everyone's just fraying, all the ends are fraying and going apart, and she's a woman under a lot of stress. And Nicole, who's done countless amount of movies and is just a superstar, you forget that when you're acting with her, because she loses all of that. She loses all of that and has created a new history in Sue, and it's believable. And I was sitting there like, I should have pulled out a notepad and been taking notes. She's incredible. We needed to find someone that could challenge Saru, and bring a lot of emotional depth to this role. And Rooney is completely that. And I was just hanging on to her coattails in every scene, and enamored by her amazing ability and beauty and everything. She's a real movie star as well. Apart from meeting Nicole Kidman, actually, meeting Saru was one of the most nervous moments for me. I felt like I know this man. I've read so much about him. I've been living in this person's skin for a year now. Courage, belief, and hope. That's really what it is about. And it's about a young man who is unwaverable, and nothing will stop him from finding his family, basically. And I think it's so inspiring, and really, this term is thrown around a lot, a needle in a haystack. He literally is searching for a woman in a city of billions of people, in a country of billions of people. And you've got this kid who didn't, couldn't speak his language. He couldn't read or write at the time that he was found. He was uneducated, and he had an incredible memory. Like he remembered this water tank and one or two other things. And he went through every station in almost half of India to find his mother. And it just is technically incredible and astounding that this person could do this and had the commitment and perseverance and dedication to do so. But also it just shows the depth of the human souls and what we'll do for each other. So I love it. It's a total underdog story.
Basically, the story is about a young boy called Saru Briley, who at the age of 5 years old goes scavenging on a train with his older brother, Guru, and he gets lost on this train and is separated from his brother and hurtled across the entire of India. And when he finally gets out of this train, he's in a part where he doesn't know where he is. He can't speak the dialect, and he's lost. He grows up as an Australian. He acclimatizes. He's surrounded by love and a wonderful, upbringing. And slowly, as he grows up, he starts to get visions of his past and his family, and he starts to get overwhelmed by this guilt. He's living this wonderful, privileged life, but his family in India, his mother, his older brother, they could still be on the train track searching for him. So at that time, there's this new app that came out called Google Earth, and using that, he starts to pinpoint certain memories and locations in his past that he can clearly remember, and tries to track down his birth mother. The point of the movie is trying to find home. He had these two wonderful beacons, his Australian mother and his Indian mother, and they were the two pillars of his life, and he just wanted to connect the dots, and just tell her he's okay. That's what he wanted to do, is find his mother and just say, I'm sorry, and I'm fine, I'm okay, and I love you. And those things really resonated with me in the whilst I was shooting the film. Every step he took, he felt he was getting one step closer to his mother. Every click of that mouse, every scroll of that screen, he's getting one step closer to finding his brother and his mother. The greatest influence in my life has been my own mother. That's how I got into acting. So when I read this, I knew that I was going to do this film for her, because it's at its core, it's about love, and it's about mothers and sons. And it's the power of just identity. That's what he's trying to do, is find his roots. The story really began with Saru's book, A Long Way Home, and he wrote it himself, and it's about this entire journey that he faced in his life. And from there, Luke Davies and Garth, our director, came in and adapted that into a screenplay, and I guess the rest is history. Saru's an incredible young man. He's so confident, and he's the epiphany of a survivor, someone that didn't give up. As a child, I remember the first thing I said to him was, I was separated from my mother in a supermarket for all of 5 minutes when I was a young boy, and it felt like an eternity. The fact that you were ripped away from your family at 5 years old, and you faced the most harshest of realities and overcame that, was incredible. Like, how did you keep it together? And he's just such a resilient soul. So Nicole Kidman plays my Australian mother in the film, Sue Briley, and she is a woman, without actually giving too much away, she's just a woman who is an incredibly loving mother, and she brought these two children in her life. She'd always imagined having children, and she adopted Saru as a 5-year-old and his brother Mantosh, and she was just a absolute joy to work with. You know, the most graceful, generous actress, and she completely, you know, all of us actors were so nervous about her coming to set. Oh my God, it's going to be Nicole Kidman, you know, how do I act? And there was no airs about her. She just was one of the team from the onset. I remember doing one scene in particular where she's giving Saru this speech about, you know, adoption and how she always imagined that she would have him in her life. And I was just watching her, and there was no acting. I was just a complete mess. She was really acting from the gut, because her, you know, a lot of this film mirrors her real life. She has adopted children, so for her there's a real personal connection to the material. We were really blessed to get Rooney on this film. She plays Saru's girlfriend, and she, you know, he meets her when he goes out. He leaves Tasmania and goes to Melbourne for a hotel management course, and they have this immediate chemistry and this connection, and she is the kind of force trying to bring him back to reality constantly, because Saru is starting to get lost in his past, and he's starting to dwell in another world, and she is this beautiful light force that is trying to bring him back, earth him, make him be present. And she, you know, Rooney as an actress is just, she's incredible. She's quietly fierce and enthralling, and I learned so much from sharing the screen with her. So when Saru first goes to Melbourne and starts this hotel management course, he's surrounded by Indians for the first time, and that is a you know, a kind of lightning bulb moment for him, because he's starting to hear Hindi being spoken and his mother tongue, and that starts to ignite all these memories. And one of his friends in college, when he tells him his story about him being an adopted boy, they introduce him to the idea of Google Earth, a new app that's just created. And you know, what he does is he configures the speed of the trains, you know, finds the average speed of the trains that were traveling at that time, and creates a search radius around an entire part of India. And you know, back then the app wasn't as developed as it is now, so the refresh rates were very slow. He was looking at blurry pixels. It's not as clear and precise as it is now for us, and how easy it is. And the fact that he could gather so much information from that is a testament to his memory and how acute it was.